Thank you, Chair. I've skimmed the recommendations and the conclusions of the independent review by Mr Alan Sunderland, who had apparently 40 years with ABC and SBS. The recommendation, number 1, editorial policies and guidance should be reviewed to ensure the importance of maintaining the integrity of crucial source material is maintained, particularly in investigative stories, the key word being integrity. Raises questions as to whether there is lack of. The second one, training should be reviewed, in particular for non-editorial staff working in investigative areas, to ensure everyone is aware of key editorial principles, including the need to maintain the integrity of source material. So it seems people are not aware or not adequately aware. Third recommendation, editing practices should be reviewed to ensure there is regular, timely and detailed face-to-face contact between editors, reporters and researchers during the editing process. Are they inadequate? Are they substandard? Fourth, when multi-platform stories are being prepared, consistent and equal scrutiny should be applied to all elements of the story across all platforms. Was there inadequate scrutiny? Fifth and final recommendation, news should review the guidance note on interviews and discuss. I'll go into that. The ABC's current guidance note on interviewing has one short section dealing with the need to take, quote, to take care to ensure that as far as possible you are properly reflecting the gist of the person's position on the key issues being discussed. Mr Stevens, it seems to me that integrity is being questioned here, and at the best this is an incredibly sloppy outfit. And you're at the top of it, aren't you?
Senator, you're correct to reference the term integrity. I would clarify, however, Mr Sunderland is referencing the integrity of crucial source material. I think they're eminently sensible recommendations, and our editorial director can speak to our adoption of all recommendations.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Thanks, Senator Roberts. So the interim report has provided a series of recommendations, which we will obviously go through incredibly carefully. You read out some of those, which I think is really important. I'm happy to go through them again. In relation to source material, I think what Mr Sunderland is reflecting from his review is that in the process of doing editing, where there may be a situation, as he has raised in his review, around looking for clean audio, that we need to look at what are our processes around doing that to ensure that we don't make this type of inadvertent mistake again. And so we'll review the advice around that very clearly. He's also spoken about the training that we should be doing at the ABC, including for non-editorial staff. And so we'll have a look at that. Training is a really important part of what we do. We're consistently working with ABC staff about editorial policies and providing guidance and making sure that they're equipped to meet our very high standards, but we'll take on board the recommendations of the interim report. Mr Sunderland has also spoken about, as you have mentioned, about editing and the regularity of face-to-face checks. Editing at this time in this era is complicated. Our teams are regularly producing a variety of different pieces of material for television, for online, for different video sources. And so ensuring that process works in the best possible way will be something that we will look at. Also, as you've pointed out, he's asked us to look at an extension of that, which is really the oversight of multi-platform stories. As you would be aware, a program, we have teams that make stories for multiple programs and for multiple outputs, and we need to make sure that there's a real clarity, continues to be a real clarity, but also that we look at how we're ensuring that communication is best handled across those different platforms.
Thank you. Now, you as in the panel from the ABC here, the four of you, you keep calling this an independent report. Alan Sunderland previously worked as the head of policy and staff development with ABC News. A journalist for 32 years, he began as an ABC cadet in 1979, before spending more than 20 years as an on-the-road reporter with the ABC and SBS. His experience includes 5 years as political editor with SBS in Canberra. He returned to the ABC and to news management in 2005. When did Alan Sunderland leave the ABC, and could you not find someone who is even vaguely independent of the ABC? Is this an independent report or an insider report?
Senator, I would
Why did you pick
answer
Mr.
very
Sunderland?
clearly that it is an independent report. The exact date of Mr. Sunderland's departure from the ABC, I would have to take on notice from memory. It might be around 6 years ago, maybe 7 years, I'm not so sure, but we can absolutely take that on notice. Mr. Sunderland is an independent member of the Press Council. I think we're comfortable to assert quite clearly that Mr. Sunderland is independent and operated independently throughout this review.
In 2017, Alan Sunderland wrote, quote, "Well, let me try to tell you exactly what's wrong with it, in response to calls for ABC reporting to be fair and balanced. Is this really someone who can be trusted to write an independent review of this subject? Who appointed him, and what were the criteria for his selection?"
Mr. Anderson appointed Mr. Sunderland. Mr. Stevens, did you want to add?
I suppose a couple of things. Firstly, before questioning the integrity of Mr. Sunderland, I'd encourage the Senator to read the report in full before forming any judgments about it. And secondly, the fact that Mr. Sunderland's made findings against the ABC would undermine any sense that it's a report free of criticism.
Ms. Klein, what did you learn from this whole episode and the millions of dollars that have been wasted on taxpayer money?
Senator, I
That's
think...
why we're here. It's an estimate session.
Yeah,
Money's
understood.
been going out.
Understood. I think we've all learnt a lot from the report. I think.
What did you learn?
What did I learn?
Yes.
I learnt that we have some processes that we need to make process improvements on. So we have 5 recommendations detailed here. I take those recommendations very seriously. I think my colleague has just explained how the recommendations have been laid out, and our intention to adopt the recommendations and do what we need to make sure these sorts of errors don't happen again.
So bearing in mind Witness Guide 4.15, what actions will you make as a result of this experience? And without names, because we want to make sure privacy is respected, was anyone's employment terminated as a result of this?
Senator, I can confirm no one's employment has been terminated. And what actions will we take? We will adopt these recommendations.
Did anyone leave the ABC as a result of this?
Senator, to my awareness, to my awareness.
And we'll need to rotate.
What about Mr. Stevens? Did anyone leave the ABC as a result of this?
I've not left the ABC.
Sorry?
I've not left the ABC. Is that what
Did anyone leave the ABC?
That wasn't the question.
No, not that we're aware of, Senator Roberts, but we can
Not that
take that
you're
on
aware
notice.
of.
I think there would only be the need for someone to leave if there was evidence of misconduct on the part of staff, and as you'll learn in the report, there's no evidence of misconduct.
So, going back then, you can say that the editor didn't leave because of this, because you did.
Pardon, Senator?
The early question before about the editor specifically says you didn't want to comment on privacy of an employee. So by that comment saying no one left because of it, he or she didn't leave because of this.
I did say I'd take it on notice, Senator.
But you just
Amarelli?
said then that no one left.
To my knowledge.
To their knowledge, the
Ms.
clarifier there at every point has been to their knowledge. They've said they will take it on notice
Yeah, okay.
and further investigate.
Ms.
What I'm
Amarelli's in
hearing is
charge
that
of
they
people, is that
don't
it?
know of anyone at this point in time. And as I've said, Senator Roberts, we're going to need to rotate the call.
Could I just ask Ms. Amarelli, are you aware of anyone who left as a result of this, or was pushed out or left voluntarily?
To my knowledge, no.
Thank you.
Thank you. Senator